Hi boys and girls, today I'm going to read you my favorite books from when I was your age. It's called Professor Wormbog and the Search of Zipperumpazoos. Yesterday Tootsie and I went in the woods. We found squirrels and chipmunks and so many insects, but we didn't find any Zipperumpazoos. So I'm going to read you a story about this mysterious creatures. Professor Wormbog collected beasties. He had every beast from A to Y, but his collection was incomplete. There was no Zipperumpazoo in the place marked Z. The Zipperumpazoo had never been caught. Without further ado, Professor Wormbog decided to catch one. He dug a pit both deep and wide. He covered it with sticks and leaves and baited it with tangles and wild eucanas. All night long he waited. In early morning, a loud crash woke him from his sleep. Rushing down, he hoisted out his catch, but it wasn't a Zipperumpazoo. Perhaps a Zipperumpazoo can be found in the sea, thought the professor. With baited hook, he set out in a motorboat. First, he caught a big blowflat glowfish, but he had one already, so he let it go. Then he caught a great glurn of the sea, but he had two of them at home, so he let it go. Then something deep under the sea took a hold of the line. "This must be a Zipperumpazoo," cried Professor Wormbog. "How fierce it is!" After many long hours, he pulled in his catch, but it wasn't a Zipperumpazoo. Perhaps Zipperumpazoos fly through the air, thought Professor Wormbog, and he disguised himself as a feathered croonie. Dangling from a bunch of balloons, he rose rapidly into the sky. However, Isabella, queen of the croonies, took one look at the disguised professor and fell madly in love. She took him home to her nest to live happily ever after. Luckily, the Professor Wormbog had a storm was brewing. The rain washed away the glue, and the wind blew away the feathers, and one look at the professor without his feathers, Isabella's heart was broken. "Leave," she told him. "Be gone, depart." Professor Wormbog hiked to the top of a craggy peak. But when the peak looked back, he knew it was time to go. No place for a Zipperumpazoo, he thought. Deep in the caves and caverns beneath the earth he traveled. Perhaps a Zipperumpazoo can be found here, he thought. He looked and looked, even in the blackest pit of all. But nothing of interest could be seen. No Zipperumpazoo either, he said. Disappointed, Professor Wormbog went home. Tired and weary, he pushed open his front door and took off his dusty clothes and jumped into a hot bath. He made a snack of cookies and milk and curled up before the fire with his favorite book. "Too bad," said Professor Wormbog with a sigh. "I guess I'll never have a Zipperumpazoo of my own." Do you see Professor Wormbog? He's sound asleep. Do you see these little white creatures with their funny little mustaches dancing around? Do you know what they are? Can you guess? Why, they're the Zipperumpazoos. They were at his home the whole time. How silly. And they're holding a sign that says "The End," but it's upside down. Tootsie and I hope you enjoyed our story today, and go outside and see what you can find. I know we're going to look again for the Zipperumpazoos. You never know what you might find outside.